morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Improbable or the Impossible. It's the Upper Deck.
Cue the music.
I have to laugh. Did you see Lori's comment?
Just as we came back from the music, Lori.
Thank you, Lori, for loving the glitch. I personally love the glitch myself. Hey, welcome. I'm back. Missed a week, and I'm very happy to see all of you on Sunday morning. I'm Chris. That's Lynn.
Yep, and no glitch at the top of the show because Chris is back. Lori. I mean, so hey, Jonathan, FJ, Lori, great to see you. They only had to wait 15 minutes in the lobby for me to figure stuff out. That was just ugliness. So,
oh my gosh,
I just want to do a minor F up right now just to get it out of the way. But
right, exactly. Or maybe call someone by the wrong name, or any of our other.
Maybe. Hey, Spencer, how you doing? Yeah, so so maybe Tori, did us a favor. I mean, Lori, there. Woo! Out of the way. So we'll see. But let's start with the trivia question of the week, can we?
Yeah.
So let's do that. And Spencer's right here. So all right, so the Yankees came into Pittsburgh on Friday as the Pirates and MLB paid tribute to the great Roberto Clemente, who was the last New York pitcher to pitch against Clemente.
Oh, that's a great question. I love that question.
Spencer always brings the timeliness.
Yes, he does. Awesome. I have no idea. And I just want to say I used to live in Pittsburgh before they built the new stadium, and that was back in '85. And I had so much fun going to the Pirate games, the community there, the Pirate, it's just, I have to say though, that at that time, the Pirates were not very hot and the stadium was basically empty. We would pay, the general admission and go in and sit wherever we wanted. It was great times, actually. I love those days. But Pittsburgh, I've been to the new stadium. It is outstanding. It's got to be the best stadium in the league.
It is. Now I know that I have to get to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Just to get into that stadium. Plus, I like the idea of riding on those little trolley cars up to sit, wherever in the city. And it's like in every magazine the past couple of years, it's like the hot city in the country.
It's a fun place.
Really on the upswing for sure. So next Pirates next season, Pirates Yankees. I think that's road trip time.
A road trip.
And so and hey Sidil, thanks for joining. Okay, so we got a couple of guesses going. Ralph Terry from FJ and Mel Stottlemyre from Tori Lori. So more on that later, guys.
We want to start out the show today with some comment, with a tweet from Yankee Elder Statesman.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. So hat tip to Tom Byron 4 on X, who gave the inspiration for the title here. Yes, this was yesterday, so the numbers have slightly shifted in our favor. He noted that there were 14 games left, and the Yankees are actually 7 out of the last wild card spot. And that means we need to pick up 1 game in the standings for every 2 we play. Impossible? No. Improbable? Yes. Yeah. We literally have to almost win out the rest of the season. And let me just share real fast on the screen because it's a lot, but I think it's worth taking a look at because I think we're going to have a chat about this among the chat and us. So this came in from John Boyle after the game. And he really lays it all out there. And so So we have 6 games coming into the Blue Jays series. And they're they're 6th ahead of us. Both teams have 7 other games to play. We have today with Pittsburgh. We have 3 with the Diamondbacks, 3 with the Royals. Yet the Jays are facing Boston and Tampa. If they go 6-0 if the Yankees go 6-0 against the Jays, I'm sorry. If Boston and Tampa go 6-0 against the Jays, then all they have to do is have the same record as the Jays in the remaining 7. But the bottom line here at the bottom, if the Yankees go 2 out of 4 or worse against the Jays, nothing else matters. It won't matter what happens in Kansas City or anything else the rest of the season. So what do we think about that in the chat?
Is there anybody out there who thinks that the Yankees can still win the World Series? I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty improbable. I realize it's not impossible, and yet this team has given me no reason for hope, really, as the season has gone on. So I refuse to contribute to further PTSD by entering the delusion that this team is going to go into the playoffs. And I know you've got a John Boy quote to the same effect.
Right. And Spencer was saying that we also need 2 teams to lose. Lori's saying that John Boy doesn't mention the Mariners. And by the way, here's what the postseason looks like if it started today. So just up there for your reference. And Elliot, we could win all of our games the rest of the way if the Jays and Mariners don't lose at least 7 of those games, then they're out.
Right.
So that's a lot of ifs.
It's a lot of ifs. And I was taking a look this morning at the Yankees record because they're mathematically still in it. I mean, they're 11-4 in September. They're the hottest team in baseball, which that's great. A little late, but thank you. But in April, we were 500. In May, we were over 500 for the only month that we've been over 500 this year. In June, July, and August, we were under 500 all 3 months. They were brutal. I mean, and that coincides with the Judge injury on June 3rd. So I think it was June 3rd.
That sounds right.
Yeah. It was ever since Judge got injured, it's just been a brutal season behind the Yankees.
It absolutely has. And I think this is a managing our expectations situation. Jonathan had noted, I had it up there for a second, that it's I don't think this team should or will make the playoffs. So Jonathan's basically, I think, saying they don't deserve to. Like, this is an anomaly and an aberration. Like, this is a very brief resurgence. We'll have a little fun, but too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
And Sunil, in his usual shy, manner, oh, hell no, Chris. Jim Carrey once had a dialogue worded as, so you're telling me there's a chance? Who'd have thought he'd be talking about the Yankees? Certainly not I.
No. But, it goes to show that wins matter in April and May. I mean, we actually were above, at that time, those things contributed. It's a good thing we had the record that we had going into Judge's injury. So right. I don't know. This team has all the potential in the world, but I don't see it happening myself. And I'm not negative Nelly. I don't go around just saying that.
No, and I my response to Tom when he put that tweet out was, the Yankee fan I've been all my life wants to say, yes, it's possible, but the old wiser fan wants to say, manage your expectations and take your Geritol and forget about it.
Exactly.
Because I think we have enough to show us that just going by the numbers, what we're
Right.
up against. And
Oh,
yeah,
hey.
Elliot, we did surpass Boston as of now. Like you said before, winning and losing from other teams is at play here. So I do hope we
Hey,
don't end
Deb.
up in the basement. Like, to me, that I expect. So, and if it doesn't happen, I'll be mad. But and they should care about that.
And the reason that the Yankees are having the surge that they're having is the kids are adding enthusiasm and energy where maybe they're not adding actual numbers per se. What do you think about that, Lynn? How are the kids doing in your opinion?
The kids are doing mighty all right. There's two exceptions there. Volpe has fizzled a bit of late. Not on the field, still solid gold on the field, but yeah, I don't know what's up at the plate for him, and hoping that he gets support in figuring that out. And Chris, like I was mentioning earlier before we jumped on, I'm just wondering if there's a little bit of a mind play going on in Volpe's head, because all the other kids he played with down below are now up, including Peraza, who he beat out for where he is. And it coincides when you line it up to when he started sputtering at the plate. So hope he gets over whatever it is, whether it's an adjustment of mechanics or get your head on straight, Volpe, time's a ticking, and be a competitor. But very happy to see Peraza, especially with the streak he's on. And Cabrera lighting up the past several games.
Absolutely. I mean, Peraza's on a 10-game hitting streak, I believe.
Yeah. And Cabrera's at 6, right?
I think so, yeah.
5 or
and
6.
Cabrera, he's just suddenly hitting the lights out. He hit a home run yesterday, which was his first home run since June, I think, or something. And Florial, since coming up, it's like he's not hitting the lights out of the ball, but he's getting his hits. He got a hit yesterday, I believe. He's 4 for 22 since coming up. He's not, like I said, he's not hitting the lights out, but he's Florial. I think he is what we expect Florial to be. But that being said, we have a center field issue for next year. And what do people think about Florial and filling the center field position in 2024? Now, I'm not suggesting he fill it, but
no, you're just asking for opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the chat has that. So, hey, Devin, what up with you? So, I don't. It's such a small sample size.
Yeah.
And the question still lingers in my head. I know they were protecting his options, and he was so close to using them all up, but there was a long time waiting when we used him, and so why now? And his hits when he's gotten them have been pretty clutch, though. But again, with the small sample size there, I'm just not so sure. And I would really hope we get somebody with a solid record, and perhaps a left-handed batter might be nice.
That would be nice.
I
like what Spencer's saying down there, because that's kind of what I was thinking along those same lines. And that is that if Florial had what the Yankees were looking for, I think he would have been up a lot sooner. I mean, I don't think Florial is the answer. Is Bellinger the answer? Is going outside the organization the answer? What do you guys think? We have now center field and left field to fill. Is Pereira the answer for one of those, for probably perhaps left field?
And noted. We did waste our time with Howard. And FJ. I would hope so. It would be more of the same if we see Florial in center field opening day next year. And NFE is agreeing that Bellinger is somebody to look into, and he's also saying that Young Ho Lee is another guy.
Okay. I don't know that name. Who is Young Ho Lee? Fill us in, NFE.
And Lori say we should hold the place for Jason Dominguez.
Okay, so Lori, you think we should just look inside the organization for center fielder for the time being?
Yeah, and Jonathan, we agree that Pereira could be an answer.
Right.
Unfortunately,
again, he's been sitting for the last 3 days. He's not in the lineup today. So I don't know if he's injured or what the deal with Pereira is right now.
Or if they're just giving him a timeout to teach him a lesson for not producing offensively.
Possibly. He's batting 143. His strikeout rate is 39.2. So it's possible he's getting a little break. And Volpe, what do we think about Volpe's performance behind the dish? I think he's been everything that could be expected. He's had not too much production at the plate, but he had a double yesterday. He was contributing on the offense.
Yep. To me, he's our shortstop.
Yeah.
And period.
Yeah.
But what about second base, Chris?
Well, second base, what are we going to do about that, chat? We have Gleyber Torres out there, and I know that there's people that want to see Gleyber extended now. Some people would rather wait and see what happens at let him play through 2024. What are people's expectations of the Gleyber Torres situation?
Sign or re-sign or release. Let him walk.
Extend or not? That's the question. But let's talk about who's hot, because Gleyber's also one of the guys who's hot right now.
Yep. And so the question is the same here. Is this just? Is it not? Unlike the resurgence of the Yankees overall, we seem to be getting these flashes of resurgence, and then they go away and they come back. I don't know that we have enough of a sample size for trusting in consistency, and certainly from a defensive point of view, oh boy, can we have a game? It's kind of like how you all must feel about our tech glitches every week. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what it's going to be this week. To me, that's how I'm feeling about what's Gleyber's glitch going to be this game.
Exactly.
What bad news bears kind of play is he going to be on the reel for? So yeah. I have mixed feelings. I have been leaning towards keeping him, but if we're seeing better within, then why wouldn't he, go at least while he has some, value and age on his side, and let him go to another market where it could be big fish, little pond.
Right.
So I'm on the fence. So they're coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone seems to be, swinging towards trade him. NFE like me is 50-50 on Torres. He's been our best hitter and half of the season and bats overall, but he's not trustworthy on the field.
No,
sorry, second base is so critical.
Oh my God, right behind the pitcher, yeah.
So yeah, okay, so the members of the Upper Deck from Pinstripe Chronicles, that's all in the chat, and me, Chris, you could abstain if you want. Say, let's do better at second field, second field
base. Yeah, I agree. I thought we should have traded Gleyber at the deadline for a pitcher, myself, for starting pitching, but we didn't. And his value has continued to grow. And I wonder if he is feeling the benefit of Sean Casey And I know that DJ, who's also hot, he's also on the hot list. DJ is definitely feeling the effects of Sean Casey. Since the All-Star break, both of these players have improved offensively. Glaber's leading second baseman in home runs at the moment, leading the MLB actually, second baseman in home runs.
That's right.
And DJ, he's swinging a hot bat.
Yep, and so really hope that Casey and Volpe have a little bit of a thing going to help Volpe figure it out.
Yeah,
Volpe cannot be anything but a Yankee. In my mind, he is a career Yankee, and I've declared it so, and so it shall be.
Exactly. Hey, maybe it's time for another serving of chicken parm. I don't know.
But, I mean, they're in the same clubhouse now. It's so and in the Bronx, I have several recommendations for places that could deliver and really have a competition about Volpe's aunt's chicken parm.
So that, NFE has an interesting statement there about DJ. And I love DJ LeMahieu, but I wouldn't mind seeing him traded really now that we've got IKF as the super utility guy. Really, it seems to me like DJ is a risk we don't need to take anymore.
So you're open to trading DJ?
Yeah. What do you think?
I
hadn't thought of it.
Do you really think we're going to get the value in that trade, or will DJ have to go with some prospects?
DJ, that's a good question. What could we get for DJ?
Yeah, DJ's getting up there in baseball, and this is a late development, and he has an injury history,
right.
And so I think it would depend on. It's going to be a package, and who would we lose that we wouldn't want to lose potentially?
Right, and his contract is. I mean, he's 35, and it's $15 million per. So for the next 4 years, right?
Yep. You have
27.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think we may be stuck with DJ for a while, but I think as long as his offense is, this is a man who's been in the elite ranks offensively. So if he could regain that, even to a certain extent, that would be welcome for 2024.
He's a Gold Glover, and he's still right on the field. There could be no question about that. But will he be somebody at some other team's Donaldson? I don't know. And so, I think it's going to be a hard sell, but I would understand and who we'd get in return as opposed to who we're giving up. Because the contract, like the brilliance of Cashman, we have so many heavy contracts. We have Stanton around our neck for the next decade.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit exaggerating, but not by much. But Spencer. Okay, so Spencer is going to say, nope, I'm willing to stick with DJ.
I'm not willing. I love DJ myself, and I think that, especially with his offensive resurgence, it makes it less painful to watch him at the plate. It's been a tough year all the way around, but lately at least.
And we have to remember, we have to remember not to forget Rizzo.
Right.
And so, already, around the horn is looking crowded when you think about Rizzo coming back. Right. So unless we're going to move DJ over to third, then what happens to someone like Peraza, for example? Right. So, and it's a great problem to have, but but if Jay is saying, and it's a good point, if we trade Torres, DJ could be the everyday third baseman, and then sensibly move Peraza to second. Right. So, so Yeah, well, it's the usual game of checkers, right?
It's the
So,
usual game of checkers. And on the other side of the ball, the let's talk a little bit about the pitching before we forget. And I know that you've got some pitching numbers for us, Lynn.
yep, I do. And I want to go back up. When we were talking about Bellinger,
Yeah,
um, FJ brought up the point um, that the Yankees seem to want Yamamoto badly, and that could impede their chances to sign Bellinger. Because Yamamoto is going to cost bucks.
right.
And I saw a segment by New York Post Sports, and the panel included Hoke and Licata and others talking about who's going to vie for Yamamoto. Mets or Yankees or both. Clearly the Yankees, because within a couple of weeks the entire front office went to see him play in Japan. So unless they were really yearning for real gyoza
Right.
and sushi, then they weren't there to be tourists. So you have to think that they're thinking pretty hard about them. Not so much action that you could see from the Mets about it, but
Right.
here's what they're saying about Yamamoto. They're saying, well, first of all, he's a free agent and he's 25 years old, and that's like a unicorn. To have a free agent that young is a big ticket item as it is. But they also are saying, this panel was saying, that he statistically is better than Blake Snell and Chris Bassett,
Wow.
who are also, I know Snell for sure is coming to free agency.
Right.
And they're saying no, Yamamoto over Snell and also Chris Bassett.
Right.
And this guy Yamamoto, this young man, isn't just a 2-3 pitch guy. He has a strong 4-5 pitch arsenal.
Right.
And so you know what? He's stacking right up there. And let's just look at the big picture right now, guys. Like, I laughed when I was watching this segment when the Mets guy was saying, well, the Yankees don't need another pitcher. They have Cole, they have Rodon. And I almost fell off my chair. I'm
Right.
like, we have Cole and we have Cole.
Right.
All we really have. And if this kid is all they're saying he could be, then you know what? Then we have Cole, possibly Yamamoto, and we get Nestor back. And then put Rodon in the fifth position.
Right.
Give Clark, the other, and Sevy, we still don't know what's going to happen with Sevy.
Right.
So hell yeah, we need pitchers.
Well, I agree on Yamamoto. If you can get him, get him. If you can't, I mean, I love Blake Snell. I've been loving Snell since for years and hoping he would be in pinstripes. I don't. I mean, I'm torn. I don't know. At this point, I've never heard of the Yankees being interested in Snell, but I hope they are. And but at any rate, go get Yamamoto. Just do it.
Yep.
I see. I mean, you can never have too much pitching.
No. I think this season needs to be a cautionary tale.
I agree.
And so yeah, Katie Sharp, this is the Katie Sharp segment of the Upper Deck. So in terms of Garrett Cole's run for the Cy Young, take a look at that. 13 starts with 2 runs or fewer allowed and 5 or more innings pitched. That's the most in MLB. Michael King. Hey, so Michael King's another possibility for the starting rotation, right? Again, another small sample size. This is brand new. But since he's moved to the rotation, he has a 1.27 ERA. So that's a good small sample size. I'd go back and get the entree. That appetizer. So something to think about. So, eyes on him. And I think that's going to be the kind of thing that we see what spring training shows.
Right.
And whatever comes the rest of the season, obviously.
Right.
But look at Rodon. This was startling to me. So this is a comparison of last season and this. So 2023, 13 home runs, 205 batters faced. 2022, 12 home runs, 710 batters faced.
Wow. That blows me away.
So what does that tell you about what's going on with Rodon? And why was he brought? First of all, why was he? Well, I guess you could see. I still question why he was required. I was going to say something kind of positive, but why they take him off why they bring him back so soon? The question I have is, doesn't this tell you that he's still injured? He came with a problem. He left with a problem. He came back with a problem. So this is startling to me.
Something's not right. And just to tag on to that, just before I forget, I saw where Frankie Montas is going to be tossing for the Rail Riders.
Holy crap! I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's going to be tossing. I think this week for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, not that. So there's Montas to consider for what to do with him in 2024.
Right. FJ, that makes me sad, but I know you're right. We don't know how much of his shoulder will bounce back. So again, it's going to be another spring training is going to be like one big Broadway extravaganza audition.
Right.
And NFE, I think you're right. I think Sevy knows it, and it's heartbreaking. I don't expect to see him back in pinstripes.
No, I don't expect Sevy back in pinstripes. I don't. His year was disastrous. So even if he had some good outings at the end, it seems like that the Yankees are probably going to move on from Sevy. That would be my guess. There's so many. We've got Brito. There's some other options. What is Rodriguez? What about that kid that pitched last night? Even Weaver. They picked him up off waivers a couple days ago or something.
Yeah.
He comes in and we win. I don't know.
Again, tiny is the sample sizes, but in a high pressure situation, it was a good look.
I wanted to throw this out there because I forgot to mention it when we were talking about center field, but I've also seen some people who are interested in bringing Bader back. And I wonder what the chat thinks about the possibility of Harrison Bader being a Yankee again.
I've been very very wishy-washy in my opinions today. I guess I need to go on a protocol of my own and get checked out. But I have mixed feelings about Booty Bader. Yeah, he came injured, but when he was fully back, he's been absolutely solid gold in center field. And Jonathan's saying we don't need him. There's too many outfields. NFE is saying I love him, but I don't want him back. And I think if it plays out the way we discussed earlier, then we don't really need him back. But I wouldn't be mad at having him back. Right. I know he has not been great at the plate, but he also hasn't had the opportunity to benefit from Casey like other hitters have.
Right.
I don't know.
I say move on from Bader.
Right. Yep. Everyone agrees.
Yeah. Elliot, that's an interesting take and not unpopular for me. I don't think that it's the medic. I don't know that it's exactly coincidence that the Yankees have so many injuries in so many ways. But I guess you have to blame players, their preparation in some respects. I hold players more to blame for injuries than medical staff myself. I always think that there's probably better preparation that could be taking place. I don't know. What do you think, Lynn?
My largest problem is Rizzo. That, to me, that was
Yeah,
a giant
that
red
was
flag.
that was egregious.
It was beyond, egregious. I to the exponentially egregious. To not notice, not follow up. And now we lost him for this season. And yeah, I just look, if this was the private sector, this would be in litigation already.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
just,
yeah.
really,
It's almost as bad as the joke that's going on out in Angels Land about Anthony Rendon and whether he had a broken tibia, I believe it was, because it was diagnosed by the Angels medical staff as a bone bruise. And then apparently Rendon eventually had other opinions, and it came out that it was fractured. So I know that that's making the Angels look pretty bad right now. But I don't think the Yankees staff looks very good either in light of the Rizzo concussion. So I don't
right.
know.
Yeah. I just hope, look, we're all lifelong learners. Maybe this was a good wake up call, and that'll be the end of the concern. So NFE is saying, going back to Bellinger, that Bellinger and Young Ho Lee are both lefty bats.
Right.
Also adding that Bellinger could also play first base.
Ah, I guess I didn't realize that.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Before we leave, I mentioned the Angels a minute ago, and I want to hop on the Shohei Ohtani news bandwagon. We got news overnight that he cleaned out his locker in Angel Land. However, I think he's still hanging around. I don't know. Fans have been disappointed, saying that he abandoned the team. I don't think that's true. Lynn, what's your take on the whole Ohtani drama out in out there?
Well, so the thing is, everybody's crying for Ohtani to get here, and I really shouldn't say everybody, but I'm not. I you know I don't think. I think he is approaching the age and point in his career where he's not going to get to be the unicorn of like pitcher and position hitter. So position player rather. So it's, and likely because of the injury itself that he's out on now. So likely at best like a DH guy, and and taking the field, but I don't know, too many injuries. And Lori says that actually here, that yeah, I mean he's pitched hurt all season. Now we know why. But he didn't abandon his team. Sunil's saying he was spotted on a flight to Japan.
I know, and there's been various sightings of Ohtani. I don't know if he's in Japan. I don't know if he's in Boston. I don't know if you guys have heard that rumor that he's been linked to possible Boston, a guy who works for New Balance in Boston or something. So there's that. I mean, Ohtani cannot be a Red Sox. That cannot happen.
No. And so, but the thing is, this is what happens in the absence of clear information. Ohtani needs to make a statement, and the Angels need to make a statement. And it was a bad look for the Angels to say, "Oh, we're looking into that about him clearing the locker." As if, "Oh, we didn't know he cleared his locker." I mean, come on. Tell the public what they want, or we're going to have this whole "where in the world is Shohei Ohtani" going on.
I know.
And all these rumors.
I've been a fan of Ohtani since he was in high school. I've been following his career since he was hitting home runs and pitching in Koshien in Japan. So I would die to see him in pinstripes. However, I realize the improbability of that, and also the fact that we have Stanton. We don't need another DH. And what do we know about moving forward with Ohtani in the future as far as pitching and hitting and his ability to sustain the two-way role? It's a lot of ifs with him. I still think that he would be an interesting figure in New York, and the media, a media sensation. It would be a circus. It would be fun.
Well, he and Judge are going to be co-spokesmen for, a number of brands, because that's always been the comparison story, right? And so, they could share a box of Cheerios together or whatever it would be. So yeah, a lot of money for industry and the team, but I don't know. I think he's fizzling. Sunil is saying he'll probably be in Toronto. But I think for the most part, we're all in consensus that he's not going to be a Yankee, or shouldn't be a Yankee, and we'll have to see. I'm gonna throw up the lineup real quick though.
Okay.
Yep. So here we go. Let's see who's missing.
No Pereira again for the third day in a row.
What's up with that?
I don't know. And who we got catching? We got Wells catching Rodon. So that's an interesting matchup to watch today. Watch whether or not Cabrera and Peraza can continue their hitting streaks.
I didn't get a chance to check the bullpen budget before we came on. I want Rodon to really be a starter today.
Right.
So after they score 4 on him in the first inning, which seems to be his thing, get him out. Right. And start calling people in early. We have a chance to sweep, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
and that's the guy that's going to close for us. So, and by the way, congratulations to us. The first Sunday in forever that we don't have a rubber game. Mark it down in history. Yeah, so and okay, so Judge in on the field, so that's good, and Stanton. Yeah, the rest is predictable.
Yep, the rest is predictable.
Yeah.
Lynn, do you want to give the answer to the trivia question?
I do. So, just to remind everybody of what the question was. So, and by the way, the year was 1960 that this was. So, who was the last New York Yankee pitcher to pitch against Roberto Clemente? And here is the answer. Jim Coates. Jim Coates in the 1960 World Series 8th inning. Clemente got an RBI infield hit to close the score to 7-6. New York Yankee fans know all too well how that game ended.
Yeah.
Badly.
The Clemente effect.
Yep.
Speaking of the Clemente effect, Cabrera actually credited Clemente, touching Clemente's bat with his home run yesterday.
That's so sweet. And when Meredith was interviewing him, he, and asked, why Clemente meant so much to him. I mean, you just remember how young the kid is and the stars in his eyes, and he's always meant something to him growing up. So, yeah, and let's see who actually wins the Roberto Clemente award. Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't mean to gaslight, but did anyone notice that Cole wasn't wearing the 21 on his jersey on Friday?
Huh.
And I'm just wondering if they ran out of time or it fell off or what. So, and I don't know if anyone else didn't. I don't know if it was optional or what.
Right. Well, I don't think not everybody was wearing the 21.
Yeah, on their backs. Right. I know Judge did because he's a nominee. Yeah. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So really nice to see Clemente honored across MLB every year. But yeah, Jim Coates. And yeah. So everyone, your guesses are are valued and welcomed. And regardless of whether you know the year, because Spencer has been at every game that's historical. I mean, Sunil, I think good for you for taking a stab at it.
Yeah.
I would not have known at all. So I think that's about it on my end.
I think that's a wrap. We appreciate and are so happy to talk with you every Sunday at 11. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate all your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to talk to us on Twitter. You can find us there as well during the week. DM us if you have any great ideas for trivia questions or topics we can use. We'd love to hear from you.
And just mark your calendars now, because we're not stopping at the postseason.
No.
It's going to be in your box on this little YouTube every week. So
yep.
We're going to switch gears right away and get into looking forward to 2024. So, and as always, we have a reserved seat for you right here on the upper deck. Go Yankees! Sweep!
Go Yankees!